you have got a physical book also, right?
I have the physical book also, but sir, what you said no in the last class also that
So like what happened, ki in between I was trying to get a chat GPT version and I was reviewing it, but then I found conceptual mistakes. So I then left it and we are using the old book only that you have physically only.
right, sir.
Okay. मंगलमय मंगल करण वीतराग विज्ञान नमो ताहि जाते भये अरिहंतादि महान करि मंगल करि हो महा ग्रंथ करण को काज जाते मिले समाज सब पावे निज पद राज। Acharya Kalp Pandit Pravar Todarmal ji has written this book Moksh Marg Prakashak, and we are on to the 6th chapter where we are discussing false god or deities, false scriptures and false preceptor. So false god, false preceptor and false religion. So we were discussing false preceptor last class. We have completed the discussion. Now there is an important topic that is coming up. Arguments supporting negligence in conduct and their refutation. So the general discussion was that the preceptors now no longer are observing the major vows that they were supposed to do. So uh, how we can accept them as preceptor? Okay, that was the discussion, and to support that discussion, Todarmalji himself has raised many questions and given the answers to clear the doubts in the minds of the uh, listeners or maybe readers. Okay, so there are 9 points supporting this argument, and we will be discussing one by one. First, I am marking you the names, okay, and then numbers, then you can start reading it. I'll make you a co-host. Yeah. Okay. So first one, here someone argues, page number 216 in the physical book. Here someone argues in the absence of preceptor. Okay. You are on 289, 260. So in the absence of preceptor, that is first point. Second point, next paragraph, he further argues. Third is the next paragraph, further he says. Then the next paragraph, here someone asks. Fifth point, the Nigrants also take food. Sixth point, are you marking all of you?
Yes,
Getting
sir.
it? Yeah, okay. Sixth point, next page, question, in the present time, the Sravakas too are not found as they ought to be. That is the sixth point. Then after one page, 264, one may say in our inner self, you are on 219, we are on 264. In our inner self, that is the seventh point. Then the next paragraph, one may ask here, how can false belief be attributed to a true believer? Then the last point, someone may say, we offer solutions. So these are the 9 points. Jia, have you marked it?
So that actually I'm on my phone. I don't have my book or anything today. I'm outside.
Oh,
So I'll re-watch it. And
okay. Madhuji, you have the textbook with you? Have you marked? Rekha ji?
Yes, मैं वापस बच्चा बात करूं. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Have you marked?
Sir, I couldn't find the page, sir. 215, you said, sir.
602. If we started from 260,
Okay. Yes.
1 minute.
you've got the physical book with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Then you mark out.
Argument supporting negligence in conduct and their
Yes.
refutation.
Yes, 9 points are there. So first point is here someone argues.
Yeah.
Next
Okay.
paragraph, he further argues.
Okay.
Third point, further he says.
Further, he says. Third point, sir.
Yeah. Fourth point, here someone asks. Fifth point, question. The Nigrans also take food.
Yes, sir.
Then after next page, sixth point, question. In the present time, the Sravakas,
Yes, sir.
that is the sixth point, and then next page, one may say, in our inner self, that is seventh point. Then next paragraph, one may ask here, how can false belief? Then 9 point, someone may say, we offer salutations. These are the 9 points we are going to discuss in this topic.
Someone. That is the 9th point.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
Thank
Okay. So, Madhiji, you begin reading first and second point, 2 points.
you. Okay, sir. Arguments supporting negligence in conduct and their refutation. Refutation of those false arguments by which worship of false preceptors is established. Here, someone argues, in the absence of preceptor, that is Guru, we shall be treated as having no preceptor, Nigurua, and the real preceptors are not found in the present times. Should we, therefore, not believe these, that is, monks, as preceptors? Answer. Those persons only can be treated as Niguruas, preceptorless, who do not believe in preceptors. And the one who has belief in the true preceptor, but not finding the true characteristics of a real preceptor in the so-called gurus in this religion, does not believe in them. He cannot be treated as a nigura, preceptorless. For example, one.
260, page number 260.
Yes, sir. Am I?
This is 61, yeah, this one.
Oh.
61, 60, come to 60.
Sorry, sir, this one, right? He forgot.
Yeah. Take it further up. Here onto the first paragraph. Yeah, this one. Yeah.
Okay,
Fine.
thank you, sir.
I'll read from those persons again, sir.
No. For example, from there you read.
Okay, sir. For example, one who does not believe in God is called an atheist, and one who believes in God but not finding the true characteristics of real God in the so-called gods in this religion does not believe in them. Then he does not become an atheist. He further argues, in Jaina scripture, the absence of omniscient, that is Kevali Jnana, is described in the present time, but the presence of a real preceptor, that is possessionless naked ascetic, is not denied. Answer. It is not stated that the true preceptor monks will be found in particular regions, but it is stated that they will be found in Bharat Kshetra is very vast region. The existence of true monks may be found in some of it. That is why absence of true monks is not described. If you believe the existence of true monks in the same region where you live, then if you go in a region where even such kind of monks will not be available, then whom shall you regard as preceptor or guru? For example, the availability of swans is described in the present time, but if the swans are not actually seen, then the other kind of birds cannot be treated to be swans. Similarly, the availability of true monks is described in the present time, but if the true monks are not actually found, then others, so called monks, cannot be treated to be true monks. I'll
Stop,
continue.
stop, stop. 2 points are covered. So in
Oh,
the first example, Todermalji puts an argument that in the absence of preceptor means true preceptors, you know, the naked possessionless monk, we shall be treated as having no preceptor. And the real preceptors are not found in the present times. So this is 300 years ago that Todermalji wrote this book. 300 years ago he was born, and maybe say at the age of 47, I think he started writing this. So maybe 250 years ago there were no monks, present times, true monks. There were many monks, but they could not be considered true monks because there are certain uh, vows that they have to follow to become a monk, and if those vows are not clear or transparent, then they are not considered a monk. So the direct connection that a true monk has is the passionlessness that he has manifested in the absence of 3 levels of passions: anantanubandhi, apratyakhyan, pratyakhyan. If these 3 levels of passions are not there, this is the internal condition, okay? And externally you are a possessionless, 24 kinds of possession, devoid of 24 kinds of possession, and naked, okay? Then he is a true monk. So in the present time, like Todramalji says, when he was there, that we are not looking, we are not in touch with any monks who is of that quality. Should we therefore not believe these monks as preceptors, the other one that are available now, who travels in city also, who takes food prepared for them, the monks are supposed to accept alms only the food which is not prepared for them, specially prepared for them. So they go with their own ideas how to take the food, and if that is met, then only they take food, okay? Otherwise they don't take. That is the ideal uh, ideal setup of a true monk, okay? But nowadays monks are taking food by invitation. On the contrary, in some cases there are bids being called for who will give the first alms to the monk, and whoever bids, the highest bidder is given the opportunity to serve the monk. So that means the foods are specially made for the monk. And it is not the monk who is having food, all his relatives and other people, they all come together, and it's maybe 30-40 people eating at the same place. Now how can the purity could be maintained when you are preparing food for so many people simultaneously, right? So everything is very fabricated. So you can very well make out who are the true monks, okay? True monks never take food prepared for them. That is one of the conditions of a true monk. उद्दिष्ट आहार, okay? उनके लिए बनाया गया आहार नहीं लेते हैं, okay? So this is very well, we can check it out and we can ascertain whether he is a true monk or a false monk. So those persons only can be treated as niguras. Niguras means perceptorless, who do not believe in preceptors. So one who does not believe in preceptors, they are called niguras. But the one who believes in it, and if such stature of monks are not available, then they cannot be called nigura, because they have in their mind what is the true image of a monk, right? So if they are not getting, they cannot consider other as true monks, okay? For example, one who does not believe in God is called an atheist. And one who believes in God but not finding the true characteristics of real God in the so-called gods in this region does not believe in them, then he does not become an atheist. Okay. So you have a belief that true monks exist, but you are not in touch. That's a different thing. Okay. So in the scriptures, it is mentioned that at the end of the 5th era, these true monks, this true religion, and of course, God is not here right now. So we don't have a direct access to God now. But the true monks and the scriptures do exist, and it will be existing till the end of the 5th era. Okay. So we cannot deny the existence of a true monk. Maybe we are not aware. Okay. So in the next question only, they said that Bharat Kshetra is a very vast region. The whole world is a small part of Bharat Kshetra, you know. So Bharat Kshetra is a very vast region. So maybe here we are not aware, but in some parts of the universe, in this Bharat Kshetra, there will be true monks. Okay. And as I said, it's going to exist till the end of the 5th era. So we are in the first 3000 years. Another 18,000 years, these true monks will exist. Okay. So we cannot deny the existence. It is a different thing that we are not having touch, we are not having access to it right now, but that doesn't mean it does not exist anywhere. Okay. So if you believe the existence of the monks in the same region, okay, then you have to search for it. And if you get the true monks, then you have to believe in them. Okay. But if you don't get the true monks, the true characteristics of a true monk doesn't resemble, then you cannot consider any Tom, Dick and Harry as true monks. Merely remaining naked does not make a monk. The internal connection, the absence of 3 levels of passions, okay, that is the main criteria of ascertaining a true monk. Okay. Nowadays, even 28 main vows are also not observed clearly. So how can we consider them a true monks? Okay.
Sir, can I ask a question?
Yes.
The Digambar gurus, I've seen when they go to take food, they keep their one arm folded on their
Yes.
shoulder. What is the reason for that?
So they are carrying some vows in their mind that if I
Okay.
get food from a lady who
Acha.
doesn't have any hair on his head, who
Oh,
has
like
been fasting,
हाँ
yeah, आकड़ी बोलते हैं उसको, आकड़ी.
So
Okay.
विधि बोलते हैं, विधि
आक-
बोलते हैं, और वो विधि itself is very very tough.
हाँ.
सर ऐसा नहीं है कि
But
हम आहार देते हैं, ऐसा नहीं है कि हम अशुद्ध बनाते हैं. हम बहुत, जब हम मुनि को आहार देने से हम बहुत शुद्धता से बनाते हैं. ऐसी बात नहीं है कि हम अशुद्ध नहीं बनाते हैं. और हम अपने पूरे घर वालों को भी वही खिलाते हैं, क्योंकि मुनि को वही खाना होता है जो घर में
बराबर है,
बना होता
बराबर
है.
है,
ये
बराबर
थोड़ा
है.
सा हम आपसे डिफर करते हैं सर.
नहीं नहीं, वो बराबर है. लेकिन देखो, मुनिराज जो होते हैं ना, वो उद्दिष्ट आहार नहीं लेते हैं. आपके घर मुनिराज आ जाएंगे, हाउ कैन यू से दैट, राइट? दे कैरी दिस आखड़ी अलोंग विद देम. आप जो बोल रहे हैं, उस क्या बोल रहे हैं, विधि बोलते हैं ना आप
विधि
लोग?
विधि विधि,
हाँ
हाँ.
हाँ. तो हम लोग
सर
आखड़ी
हम
बोल.
पूरा बना के बैठे होते हैं, वो नहीं आते, कई बार नहीं आते, एक आध बार ही आते हैं. अगर हम 10
नहीं नहीं
दिन.
नहीं, मतलब जैसे आप बोले ना, पूरे घर वाले को, रिलेटिव को बुला लेते हैं अपन, तो कब
हाँ,
बुलाएंगे? जब यू आर श्योर कि मुनिराज आएंगे,
नहीं
राइट?
नहीं, मुनि अगर नहीं भी आएंगे, उस चौके में अगर शुद्धता से बने हैं, हम तो 10 दिन बुलाते हैं सर. ऐसे हम बुलाते
10
10
दिन
दिन.
नहीं, ये तो एवरीडे का है ना.
हाँ,
एवरीडे.
एवरीडे मतलब हमारे यहाँ तो नंबर ही नहीं आएगा ना इतना, रोज तो वो एक जने से नहीं लेंगे.
नहीं नहीं, वो तो एक जन से नहीं लेंगे, लेकिन ऐसा मतलब ऐसा समय था कि लोग शुद्ध भोजन ही करते थे 12 महीना. दैट वाज द कल्चर. तो मुनिराज आकड़ी लेकर जाते थे, कहीं भी आहार उनको बुलाते थे. श्रावक भी 10 बजे खड़े रहते थे बाहर घर के, और उनको बुलाते थे. और जॉइंट फैमिली हुआ करती थी. तो इवन इफ 50 मेंबर्स इन अ फैमिली, तो एक मॉन्क आ जाए, 2 मॉन्क आ जाए, तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होती थी, बिकॉज 50 जॉइंट फैमिली थे सब. ठीक है. तो वो परंपरा थी. अब क्या हो गया कि सब न्यूक्लियस फैमिली हो गए, सब अलग अलग डिवाइड हो गए, राइट? तो अभी वैसा नहीं रहा. तो अभी तो क्या हम आप भी घर पे रोटी बनाओगे तो आप गिन के बनाओगे कि आज बेटा बहू तो बाहर गांव जा रहे हैं, तो आज तो हम लोग 2 ही लोग हैं, तो हम 10 रोटी बनाएंगे। अगर बेटा बहू है तो आप ऑब्वियसली 20 बनाओगे, ठीक है ना। तो सब लोग कैलकुलेटेड करके करते हैं, ठीक है। वो क्या टाइम था कि जब लोग सहज ही बना रहते थे, जॉइंट फैमिली हुआ करती थी, मॉन्क अपनी आंकड़ी लेके आते थे और उनकी वो मीट होती थी तो ही आहार लेते थे, लेकिन किसी को बता के तो आते ही नहीं थे, राइट। तो वो जमाना अलग था, ठीक है। अब क्या है कि जब टाइम जैसे जैसे आगे बढ़ रहा है तो सब चेंजेस होते जा रहे हैं। बट यहाँ टोडरमल जी यही इंसिस्ट कर रहे हैं कि वो जो हमारे यहाँ डिफाइंड है ना, जो मॉन्क्स का जो पिक्चर इमेज, वो वी कैनॉट चेंज। इट्स एवरीथिंग इज डॉक्यूमेंटेड इन द स्क्रिप्चर्स। आप पढ़ोगे अष्टपहुड़ ग्रंथ कुंद आचार्य देव ने लिखा है, इतना स्ट्रिक्ट डिसिप्लिन लिखा है उसमें। उसमें लिखा है कि जो मॉन्क जरा भी डिबेट करते हैं इन सब से, वो निगोद के पात्र है। मतलब कितना स्ट्रांग
Even I agree.
पूरा डिसिप्लिन लिख दिया है पूरे अष्टपौड में कि ये नहीं होना चाहिए, ये होना चाहिए। सो लाइक आप ये पूरा पढ़ोगे ना तो यू विल कम टू नो कि सी, अब उनको तो क्या था, विकल्प हुआ कि लाइक सच्ची बात बतानी चाहिए। तो और वो उन्होंने, टोडरमल जी ऑल्सो रेड द स्क्रिप्चर्स, अष्टपहुड़, he has read around 20 scriptures, all of acharyas, and then he started to write the scriptures. Okay, so उन्होंने भी बहुत स्टडी करा है, and it's everything is available, everything is documented. So he is just expressing his ideas by raising questions. Okay, so if you don't get the certain characteristics that are required to be a genuine monk, you cannot consider anybody as monk. That is what is being interpreted here. For example given, the availability of swan is described in the present time. But if the swans are not actually seen, then the other kinds of birds cannot be treated to be swans. Similarly, the availability of true monks is described in the present time up to the end of the 5th era. But if the true monks are not actually found, then other so-called monks cannot be treated to be true monks. Okay? 3 कसाई चौकड़ी का अभाव, 3 levels of passions चली जाए, आप खाली उनकी मुद्रा देखोगे आपका भाव परिवर्तन हो जाएगा। They are such internal purity, है ना। तो वो तो जो क्वालिटी है वो तो है, ठीक है। तो अपन उसको आइडेंटिफाई करें, है ना। उद्दिष्ट आहार हमारे लिए बहुत अच्छा एग्जांपल है। ऑन दैट 28 मेन वोज, 28 मेन वोज भी आप पढ़ना अच्छे से, तो यू कुड मेक आउट कि लाइक क्या चल रहा है अभी। लाइक इधर आगे एक एग्जांपल आया है कि आदिनाथ आदिनाथ भगवान मतलब आदिनाथ मुनिराज के साथ 4000 राजा दीक्षित हुए, ठीक है। तो आदिनाथ भगवान को तो, आदिनाथ मुनिराज को तो आत्मा की रुचि हुई थी, आत्मा का अनुभव हुआ था, वो तीर्थंकर होने वाले थे, ठीक है। तो वे तो अपने ध्यान में निमग्न थे, ओके। बट द अदर 4000 किंग्स who became monk, they were not aware of how to do Bhed Vigyan and how to uh, get immersed in the self. They didn't knew. So what they did, they started wandering here and there and they started misbehaving. Then the celestial beings from the heaven came down and said that if you want to behave in a different manner, that which is different from the accepted norms, then you leave the monkhood and do whatever you feel like. But don't be in a monk's pose and do wrong things. Strictly. And they were forced to give up monkhood, because they didn't know the internal connection. That when you are engrossed in yourself, that is the time that your focus is on the self only. And with that internal purity, the external mind, speech, and body of are these order. So there exists a instrumental cause and effect relationship between the mind, speech, and body and the internal purity that the monks have manifested. So ये सब सहज होता है, very spontaneous, naturally. Okay, so they don't have to take any tension that now if I am dwelling in the jungle, if some insect comes, if the snake comes, if the lion comes. No, they are totally fearless. Their internal passions of to the 3 levels have been destroyed, and that's why they are true monks. Okay, so if the internal connection is there, the external behavior would be also of the same kind. There exists a relationship, instrumental cause and effect relationship. Okay, so that we cannot deny. Only thing is that Todarmalji makes us to want to aware that this is something very important that you should look at. Further, he says, even the imparter of knowledge, yeah.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. Sir, I have a question. Sir, you earlier said that, and even Malti ji was saying, they carry that vidhi because they are thinking that only if the person is bald, I'll take food from them.
Yeah.
But sir, we've also studied that there is Kambat Paryaya. What is going to
Right.
happen is going to happen. So why do they, put themselves through these conditions or upsarg that I will, do this, do that?
Right. They do this to see their strength of meditation.
No, but sir, if they're not going
They
to get
test
food,
themselves. They
I
test
know.
themselves.
I know. So, sir, if they're not going to get food today, they're not going to get food today. So why do they put themselves that only if the person is born?
Because they are not the omniscient, right?
Yeah.
We discussed the other day Purusharth, okay, in Krambat Paryay.
Yeah.
So whatever is possible at your end, at your level, you should do.
Yeah.
And the end result would be according to the eligibility of the moment. Tat samay ki yogyata.
Correct.
Okay. So this is the balance. But you are not omniscient. So you have to put in the efforts in the right direction. Right? That is your job. Now things work out or don't work out, that is all dependent on the bhavitavya, destiny. Right? But at your end, you should put in efforts. So similarly, the monks, they are also not omniscient.
Right.
Adinath Bhagwan went for monks for 7 months and 9 days.
Yeah.
Nobody gave him the alms because nobody knew the process.
Yeah.
Then Raja Shreyans, due to his Avdi Gyan, not Avdi Gyan,
Earlier,
He was the Padpota, no? Yeah.
Avdi Gyan or Avdi Gyan or Jati Smaran Gyan. I think Jati Smaran Gyan, right? So through his Jati Smaran Gyan or Avdi Gyan, he knew the Vidhi. He came to know about the Vidhi and then he offered, and then the Parna was done.
Yeah.
Adinath Bhagwan.
Yes.
Same was the
Same
case
thing.
with Mahavir Bhagwan also, right? So they take this kind of akadis. Now Mahavir Bhagwan took an akadi that I would accept alms from a lady who is not married,
Yeah.
who has been hungry for
Not
3
inside
days,
or outside.
and he has shackles in her leg,
Yeah.
all these conditions. Now, if you think on those lines, how difficult is to get that kind of situation, right?
Wait,
But still,
that-
he got, no?
Actually, he went, she didn't have tears in her eyes, and then he
So
turned
they
away.
do this intentionally to see their inner strength.
Yeah, that's what I was,
How
even
they
I
can,
wanted to say.
how can they be in their self without getting the favorable external situations? That is their test of strength,
Sir, here I want to ask, उनको क्या मालूम पड़ गया था क्या कि ऐसा होने वाला है, इसलिए उन्होंने वेट किया कि
नहीं, मालूम नहीं पड़ा.
अच्छा, I thought, मतलब अभी ध्यान आया ये बात, पहले
उनके
पता था.
पास, see, they have these powers of Avdi Gyan, Mana Paryay Gyan, they may have these powers, but they never use it for their own purpose. In case of Vishnu Kumar Muniraj, we saw that he had this power, special powers, but he never knew it. Somebody else told him that you have this power, so you save these 700 monks, and then he did that. So they are not interested in these kind of things. The monks are totally interested in immersing in the self, nothing else, because that is the time they derived maximum happiness from their inner self. So that is their primary job. Now the third point and the fourth point we'll take together. Hemali, you only read.
Yes.
Further, he says,
Further, he says, even the imparter of knowledge of one syllable is believed to be the guru, preceptor. How should then one not be believed to be a guru who teaches us Shastra and gives discourses on them? The word guru denotes a highly respected person. So, in whomsoever, whatever type of greatness be possible, he is respected as guru in that sense. For example, from the family status point of view, the parents are termed as guru. Similarly, the teacher who imparts education is termed as guru in that sense. But here, the issue is that of religion. Therefore, in the context of religion, he who is great from the conduct, dharma point of view, is to be treated as guru. But dharma is the name of charitra, true passionlessness, conduct. In the scripture, it is stated that charitran khalu
Charitam khallu dhamo.
charitam khallu dhammo. True conduct only in religion, that is dharma. Therefore, the possessor of true conduct can only be termed as guru. For example, the bhoots, demons, are also called devs, gods, but here in the context of true belief of dev, only Arihant Dev, omniscient God, is accepted as dev, God. Similarly, the term guru, though used in various contexts, yet here with reference to true belief, the Nirgrantha Guru, that is totally passionlessness, naked, homeless, ascetic monk, only is to be believed as Guru. In Jain religion, the term Arihant Dev, Nirgrantha Guru are profusely used. Here someone asks, what is the reason that none else except that Nirgranth, naked passionlessness monk, is believed to be the Guru? Answer. Accepting the Nirgranth, no other Jeev possesses the supremacy in all respects. For example, if a greedy person delivers lectures on Shastra, then the listeners regard him superior because he delivers discourses, whereas the discourser regards the listeners superior because they offer him wealth, clothes, etc. Although outwardly the discourser is superior, yet being greedy internally, he does not possess superiority in all respects.
Stop. So you see the word guru. The word guru is denotes a very highly respected person. So the one who has these qualities, okay, that we mentioned, that we discussed just now in the previous questions, that is the true guru, right? Now, parents are also said to be guru, then the teacher is also said to be guru. So all these are Vidya Guru. They are not the true guru as in Dev Shastra Guru, okay? Because Dev Shastra Guru, the definitions are very clearly defined. We cannot accept anybody else in that category, right? So a Dev would be Sarvagna, Vitrag and Hitopdeshi, okay? We cannot consider Ganpati also a Dev as Aryan Bhagwan. No, because we have a very clear definition of a Dev. Vitragta and Sarvagnata are the two characteristics by which we can identify somebody as Dev. Okay. So Aryant and the liberated soul, these are the two Devs. Now in terms of Guru also, that three levels of passion should have gone. Then they are true Gurus. All other are, you can just say that Vidya Guru. Okay. So teachers are also has to be respected. Parents are also to be respected. But that doesn't mean that they Guru and that Dev Shastra Guru, they both are same. Okay. So in religion, the Guru is a very well-defined term, and the person who qualifies for that Guru should have the requisite characteristics in them. Okay.
So I had a question.
Yes.
So then would so in Digambar sect we also have Kanji Swami who we call Gurudev. So
Huh.
would he be Vidya Guru or
He
real
is
Guru?
Vidya Guru only.
Okay.
We can clearly see that he is wearing clothes and he is having possessions, right?
Right.
So he
Okay.
cannot be termed as a Nigranth, possessionless naked monk. Possessionless naked monk is a Nigranth, okay? So this is very well established, but affectionately you may say him Gurudev. There is nothing wrong in that, but you should understand the difference that the true Guru, which is the Dev Shastra Guru one, is a different entity, and this whom you are calling affectionately as Guru is just a Vidya Guru, right? So in the first place, we should not get into such kind of things. Okay, you can say Swamiji, you can say any other name, but why you are using the word Guru? Okay, but now that tradition has come, so nobody can change that, but that is not the correct thing. Okay, so we should have a clear image in our mind who is a true Guru is, and then the others you can term him as teachers, masters. You can put many names to it, but don't give him a name of Guru. Okay. But now Guru word is more connected with one who is an expert, who is a connoisseur of kind of things, you know. So they are termed as Guru, but they are not the true Gurus. Okay. So this is very clear defined. Similarly, the term Guru, though used in various contexts, yet here with reference to true belief, the Nigranth Guru, totally possessionless, naked, homeless, ascetic mon only is to be believed as Guru. Okay. In Jain religion, the term Aryan Dev, Nigranth Guru are profusely used, very well defined. There cannot be any compromise in that. Fourth point, accepting the Nigranth, no other Jivas, possesses the supremacy in all respects. Okay. So that's why they are called as Guru. Okay. So without Nigranth, now they have given an example. If a greedy person delivers lectures on Shastra, that doesn't make him a Guru. Although he is better than the listeners, but that doesn't make him a Guru. Okay. So the listeners regard him superior because he delivers lectures or discourses, whereas the discourses regarded wherever the teacher regards the listener superior because they offer him wealth, comfort, everything. So that means the teacher is greedy. Okay. And that's why he is considering the um, listeners as superior because they are offering him wealth and all the comforts. Okay. So although outwardly the discourser is superior, yet being greedy internally, he does not possess superiority in all respects. Okay. Now, point number 5 and 6. The Nigrants also take food from their Maltiji. Only 5 you, because it's a long one. So 5 and 6 we will do separately. So you read the 5th point.
So I don't have the book with me, so it will be a little difficult.
On the screen, this is from here only. The Nigrants also take food.
The Nigrants also take food. The Nigrants do not take
So
food
you
with
have not got the book or?
No, I at the moment I don't have. I'm not at home.
Acha, okay.
That way.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
if you tell me, I will courier, okay?
Yes, sir. I asked for them. Actually, I asked them for a book, but in the books that they sent, the Smoke Mark Prakashak is not sent. I
Acha.
ordered for it,
But this is today. Now we are in the 6th chapter. So earlier 2 terms also we had this book.
Yes,
so
sir.
You must have received earlier.
Earlier I had received, and I wanted to share it with somebody because this is the best. The most important chapters are there, but it's fine. I mean, because I keep moving, sir. That's the problem.
Okay. So if you want, I can courier you here from Mumbai.
Fine, sir.
Okay. Yeah. I have address. Jaipur address, right?
Jaipur address. Yes, sir.
Okay.
The Nigrants also take food. The Nigrants do not take food with inferiority complex and greed passion by praising the donor. So their supremacy is not affected. The greedy only suffers from complexes. Therefore, the Nirgrants only possess supremacy in all respects. No other jivas except the Nirgrants are meritorious in all respects. Therefore, superiority and inferiority are to be considered only from the viewpoint of possession of merits and demerits, respectively. Therefore, dauntless adoration is not possible. Moreover, accepting the Nirgrants, whatever religious conduct is observed by other jivas can be followed in the same degree or higher degree even by the householders. Then, in such a case, who should be regarded as Guru? Therefore, only those Nirgrant monks who have no external and internal possessions and attachments are to be known as true Gurus, real preceptors. Here
Continue.
someone may ask, such gurus are not found here in the present time. Hence, as the installation of Arihant God is his idol, similarly, the installations of the gurus are these sanctimonious persons. Answer: for example, if someone treats the portrait of a king to be the king, then that portrait is not a rival of the king. But if some ordinary person wants himself to be treated as king, then the person is the rival of the king. Similarly, if someone makes the installation of Arihant, God, etc., in stone, etc., then that idol is not a rival of him. But if some ordinary person wants himself to be treated as monk, then such a person is the rival of the monks. If even in this way the installation be possible, then get yourself to be treated as Arihant also. And if an ordinary person is installed as a true monk, then at least outwardly he must possess the characteristics of a true monk. But the true monk, Nirgranth, is totally possessionless, naked, homeless, ascetic, whereas the so-called monks are having lot of possessions. How such installation is possible?
So, see, very clearly defined the characteristics of a true monk. So that should be there. You can check the outward appearance. You may not be aware that the internally he is devoid of 3 levels of passion or not. That is something that you cannot check. But the external appearance that you can check from his food habits, from his 28 men woes, naked, possessionless, all these you can check. So the image of a true monk is very well defined, okay, and there could not be any compromise in that, okay. So
here monk means Muni, na?
Muni, right? Monks mean Muni. Monks, Nigrant, ascetic, all means the same, okay. So we cannot establish any other person as monks just because he's just like a guru, you know. He's either a teacher or something like that. So we cannot term anybody and everybody as monk. Monk has certain characteristics that he should follow as a discipline of conduct, and that is only the checking point for us externally. So that we should do. Now the next question is something more interesting, that in the present time the Sravaks, Jaina householders too, are not found as they ought to be. In earlier times, every household used to have Shuddh Bhojan, you know. That was the general tradition. It was not something religiously done or something. That was the way of life in earlier times. We used to wash this anaj 3 times and then put it in the sun, and those kind of uh, cereals and pulses and grains, all we used to do. That was a normal course, you know. There were no outside food, there was no ready-made food, there was no, nowadays we have Swiggy and what or not. So those were not there. Everyone used to cook food in their place, all Shuddh Bhojan, and everyone used to have their own fields where they used to cultivate crops. So that was the life. But with time deterioration, things are moving fast, very fast. So nowadays the Sravaks are also not of that category. So how can we expect monk to be of that category? So Sravak has also compromised in their behavior. So monks also we could compromise. But here Todabaji says no, that cannot be done, because in the Sravaks only main attributes are Ashtamul Gun, Mad, Mas, Madira. Okay. The 3 these 3 things and the 5 figs, udambar fruits, 5 udambar phal. Okay. So these 3 are 8 mool gunas, wine, meat and honey. These 3 has to be renounced, and the 5 types of udambaras, figs, that is fruits. These all contains tras jeev, these figs. So that are to be renounced to qualify as a Shravak. Okay. So these are very minimum requirement. So we can always from the conventional point of view, we also say those who are not woe holder as Shravak. Ideally, the fifth
Ratri bhojan tyag or pani chana, that is not Shravak. That is not a requirement of a Shravak.
that is the basic requirement of a Jain. Okay. Now we
Jain.
move from Jain to Shravak. Shravak is ideally the 5th stage holder. Okay, the Pratimadhari, Elak Chulak, okay, like that. So even if you have one Pratima also, you are a 5th stage holder. That's not a problem. But those are called the true Shravaks. But conventionally, we also say 4th stage holder as a Shravak who doesn't have any woes in their life, but still they are considered Shravak. Forget that. Even the wrong believers, household, are also termed as Shravak, Shravika. Right. And Todamalji gave their example of Samosaran. In the Samosaran, there are 12 sabhas, and one of the sabhas is for Shravak. Okay. But in that category, they don't have defined that Mithya Drashti Shravak, Samyak Drashti Shravak, or Sache Shravak. These 3 boundaries are not defined. Shravak means any Jain who's is follower of this 8 Ashtamul Gun, and the 3 things other Devdarshan, Ratri Bhojan Tyag, and Bina Chana Jal Kam Na Lena. Okay, these 3 are the basic quality of a Jain. Okay, Jains use filtered water. One thing, they don't consume food in the night after sunset. That is the second. And the Dev Darshan. Morning, first thing you should do, you go to a temple. After that only you can have your breakfast. Okay. So that is the normal norms of a Jain. Okay. Now, some advanced category are the Shravaks. So Shravaks ideally are the 5th stage holder, but conventionally even the 4th stage holder and even the wrong believers are also termed as Shravak. So here the question is that since the monks are of not that category, no, the question is the other way around. The Shravaks are also not category as they were earlier used to be. So what is the harm in accepting the monks with little bit of less kind of conduct disciplines? So Todomalji here denies that no, that cannot be possible. Okay. So that is the 6th thing that we are going to discuss. Who else is Rekha? You read.
Yes, sir. In the present time, the Shravakas Jain householders too are not found as they ought to be. Therefore, the monks are also not found as they ought to be. So we worship them. Answer. In the scripture, the term Shravaka is used for all Jain householders, irrespective of whether he is a votary or a non-votary. King Krennic also was an incontinent non-votary, but in Uttar Puran, he has been stated as the best Shravak. In the 12 kinds of the assembly halls in Domitian Jain's Samasharan, one arena is meant for Shravakas, but all of them were not votaries. If all were votaries, then the number of the non votaries in continent persons should have been specified separately, but it is not specified. Hence, all Jaina householders are given the name of Shravaka. But the term monk Guru has now nowhere been used for any person except the Nirgranthas. Further, the Shravakas, all the Jain householders, are stated to be possesses 8 basic rights, that is, 8 primary moral characters called Mulgunas. Therefore, the eating and taking of wine, meat, honey, and 5 types of udambar figs, fruits, which contain trasjeev, is is not found in the Shravakas. So somehow Shravakaship is possible, but the monks' basic rights, Mulgunas, are 28 which are not seen in the sanctimonious person. Hence, the monkship is not at all possible from any point of view. Further in the householder state, Jambu Kumar, etc., described to have indulged excessively in the acts of injury, etc. But after accepting monkhood, asceticism, none indulged in any acts of injury, etc. Nor kept any possessions and attachments. Therefore, your above stated argument cannot be maintained. Further, it is stated in the scripture that 4,000 kings, after adopting asceticism, monkhood, along with Lord Adinath, became corrupt later on. Then Devas, God of heavens, warned them, if you will follow wrong conduct after accepting Jina Lagna Nirgrantha monkhood, we will punish you. After giving up Jain Linga, you may indulge in whatever practice you like. Therefore, those who follow wrong conduct after accepting Jain monkhood are punishable. How could such person be revered? What more to say? Those who indulge in perverse practices after accepting Jainlinga, Jinalinga, Nirgrantha monkhood, they are great sinners. Other jivas who attended now on them and worshipped them are also great sinners. There is a story in Padma Puran Shastra that one devout, Shravaka, named Shreshti, did not offer food to the monks possessed of supernatural power of moving in the sky by believing them corrupt, then under suspicion. How is then offering of food, etc., possible to those who are clearly corrupt?
So this is the end of the sixth point. So all the discussions more or less we have already discussed. So in Jainism, the monks' characteristics and the monks' conduct is very well defined. So we cannot compromise on them and we cannot consider anybody as monks, but we have some well defined characteristics. We have to check that and then only he is considered as a monk. Okay. So so those who are not monks, but they pretend to be monks, that should be avoided. Okay. Now the seventh point and eighth point. Seventh, eighth, and ninth are small ones. So we will take up all these three together. I am only taking it. One
Sir,
may say, yeah.
मक्खन मक्खन भी तो खाने मना करते हैं क्योंकि उसमें एक तरह
Yes,
की
yes,
तो
yes,
यहाँ
yes,
मेंशन नहीं
yes,
हुआ है
yes.
ना?
नहीं खाते, श्रावक लोग नहीं खाते, बहुत जो व्रती लोग होते हैं ना, सी
हाँ
जैसे watermelon is also supposed to be not to eat. Tomato is also not supposed to be eaten. But so there are different levels of conduct that people follow. Okay, so
हाँ
it is up to you what you define for yourself. Okay,
हाँ
depending on your internal purity, depending on your external circumstances. I know some students of Parmagam who are making making or using kanda batata in their home. Their family is not ready to renounce that, so they have to make. So they come and
correct.
ask me. So see, you don't know what is your external situation. Now you have two kids, and now you have suddenly woke up this Parmagam honors course, and now you know this is all wrong and that. So now you have to balance, you have to balance, and those times are not going to be there for permanent. Okay. So those also will go with your internal purity, with your studies, your internal purity. Things will change outside also, but you have to be patient. The other option is you take a divorce. So then also it is very painful for the children and all. So you have to do some calculations at your end and do what is possible best at your end. Okay. So makhan hai, tomato hai, watermelon, there are many things. So I will just give one line for this all arguments. Charnan Yoga is absolutely individual, right? It cannot be enforced upon anybody. It is your own willingness to do what is possible for you, and that only you do, and you are only responsible for that. Okay, so you cannot enforce Charna Yoga to anybody. It takes time. Sometimes the situations are also very critical. So we have to think, we have to take everything in consideration, and then only you have to take a call. Okay, so that is best left individually. The whole Charnan Yoga is like that. No, even two Kevli Bhagwan who are in the 13th stage, their Audik Bhav doesn't match. Their external Audik Bhav is what? What it is called? Can anyone remember Audik Bhav in English? कर्म के उदय में होने वाले जीव के भाव, that is औदिक भाव. With the rise of the karmas, the manifestations or the dispositions of the jiva that arise due to the instrumental cause of karma is called औदिक भाव. So two Kevli Bhagwans औदिक भाव doesn't match. So how can we consider that ours can match?
Right.
Both are in the 13th stage, but Audik Bhav are different. Okay. So Audik Bhav is something that has not to be copied. It is your individual journey. You have to individually take that call. Okay. Depending on your
तो इसमें भाव भी अफेक्ट होता है ना सर, अपना भाव अंदर से कैसा है,
भाव भी है, आपका पुरुषार्थ भी है, आपकी योग्यता भी है, many factors.
पुरुषार्थ भी है और ये भी है ना कि भाव आप कैसा रख रहे हैं कि भाई नहीं खाना है लेकिन नॉट मतलब पॉसिबल नहीं हो रहा है ये.
ठीक है, वही मैं बोल रहा हूँ ना कि these are all individuals call. I cannot take your call, you cannot take my call, right? So these are all individuals call. The best part is आपको दुखी नहीं होना है. If you are becoming dukhi, then it's a crime. If you are able to manage everything and be happy in those spaces, then you are a winner. Okay, so that is only the one rule that you have to accept, that I want to be happy in all space. Now to be happy, so one equation is very fixed, that I want to be happy. Now other variables will change depending on the external circumstances, the environment, Dravya Shikra, Kal Bhav, everyone is having different, right? So you have to take call accordingly. There will not be any clear-cut instructions for all at one time. It all has to be, you have to customize it according to your requirements. Yeah. Now 7, 8 and 9 I am reading. One may say, in our inner self we have true belief, but outwardly due to fear of public censor means ninda here, ninda, we respect them. Therefore we will reap the fruit according to our inner belief. Right? In Ashtapaud, now this is Kunkund Acharya has written, in Ashtapaud Shastra, paying regard due to shyness, then you write down, comma, etc. This is in the Hindi book, etc. Now, if you open up that bracket of etc., it's there in the Ashtapaud, page number 182. 3 words are there. One is shyness, lajja. The other is pride, man. Okay. उसमें वहां पे word use किया है गारव. गारव also means man. Okay. Pride. And the third is fear, bhai. So under the influence of these 3, you should not pay regards. Okay. In Ashtapaud Shastra, paying regard due to shyness, pride, fear, etc. is negated. This was stated earlier. If someone forcibly makes you bow your head with folded hands, then one can argue that it is not according to our inner self. But if you yourself offer salutations, etc., due to pride, passion, etc. So again 3 words will come: shyness, pride, passions, and fear. Then how not to attribute movement of inner conscious in such act? Okay. No, then how not to attribute involvement of inner conscious in such act? For example, if someone internally believes meat eating as bad, but for the sake of pleasing the king, etc., he eats the meat, then how could he be treated as a votary? Okay, votary means vrati, continent. Okay. Similarly, if someone internally believes adoration, etc., of false preceptors as bad, okay, पता है नहीं करना चाहिए, but for the sake of pleasing them and other persons, he adores them, then how could he be called a true believer? Hence, an outward renunciation only, the internal renunciation is possible. Hence, on outward renunciation only, the internal renunciation is possible. Again, this is a conventional statement. This is a statement from the point of view of instrumental cause and effect relationship. Okay. Therefore, for the true believer, the adoration, etc., of false preceptors is not justifiable from any point of view. Okay. In this way, adoration of false preceptor is prohibited. 8th point. One may ask here, how can false belief be attributed to a true believer of tattvas if he adores the false preceptors? As a chaste woman never cohabits with any other man except her husband. Okay. Shilvati Stri. Okay. यहाँ लिखा है chaste woman. Okay. Similarly, a true believer of tattvas never offers salutation, etc., to a false preceptor as he does to a true preceptor, because he has firm belief in Jeev, etc., tattvas, 7 fundamental elements in his belief. There is total negation of attachment, etc., passions, and the highest regard for passionlessness. Therefore, he offers salutation, etc., to those monks, true preceptors only, who possesses passionlessness, knowing them adorable, and never offers salutation, etc., to those so-called monks who possesses attachments, etc., passions, knowing them unadorable. Okay. So as a chaste woman never cohabits with any other man, similarly a true believer never worships the so-called monks, okay, by considering them as true monks. But that doesn't mean that you have to develop a feeling of aversion towards them. Okay. That means you have to be neutral. You can say Jai Jinendra always. It's not that you have to turn around and move in the other direction. No, it's not like that. On the contrary, you should have a dialogue. You should discuss religious discussions with him. They also learn, 9th point. Someone may say, we offer salutations, etc., to the so-called monks with the same view with which we offer salutations, etc., to the kings, etc. Now the king. So king, saluting to the king has a different purpose. Okay. You want to be there, live in that kingdom. You have to pay the taxes according to that kingdom, right? And you have to respect the king also, right? So that is a different thing altogether, because you are doing such and such things out of your greed for making money, for taking business from the king. So those considerations are different. Okay. So, what's the harm in offering salutation to the so-called monks? That's the question. Answer. The kings, etc., have no place in religious tradition, but the preceptor's adoration is a part of religious tradition. Okay. Reverence to the kings, etc., done with the motive of greed, etc., where the rise of charitra moh, conduct deluding karma, only is possible, but the adoration of false preceptors in place of true preceptors is a contrary practice, because the instrumental cause of right belief in tattvas is the true preceptor. Okay. So this cannot be compared to that I also bow to the king. So what's harm in bowing to the so-called monks? No. In terms of religion, there could be no compromise. You can pay respect to a true monk and the same way to another monk. No, that's not possible. You have to judge and you have to decide depending on your judgment. Therefore, due to shyness, if someone adopts perverse instrumental cause, then how could he attain staunch belief in tattvas, which is the desired result? Okay. Hence, the rise of darshan moh, faith during karma, is possible there. Thus ends the discussion of the characteristics of a false preceptor. So, Guru's chapter is over here. We have enough of discussion to take decision for yourself. You can put in further logics, arguments, thinking, and then you can arrive at a decision. See, We don't have any hatred to anybody. All are God, right? Internally, all are God. Now, the external differences are there because of the belief system, right? If you have access with something else from, you are born in such a family that they pray to such kind of things, then you cannot avoid. But now, when we are transforming our life, we want to understand the truth, then what is available in the scriptures you have to read, and accordingly you have to upgrade your knowledge according to the scriptures. Then your knowledge could become right. If your knowledge is according to the scriptures, it's a right knowledge. Okay. So this is about false preceptor. Now we are moving on to the third and final topic of this chapter, exposition of false religion and denial of faith in it. There are 8 points in it. The first paragraph is first point, but in that first paragraph itself, 3 things, main things have been considered, okay, out of which they have missed one thing. But from the Hindi version, if you read, you will understand that 3 things have been considered. What is a false religion? To believe a religion to be false, you have to check 3 points. Whether any violence is being done, first one, hinsa, okay. Second is whether it increases your carnal desires, 5 indriyo ke vishay. And the third point is kashai, passions, okay. 3 things. Any religion, whether it is true or false, you have to check the 3 parameters, whether it is increasing or involving violence, whether it is increasing your carnal desires, sensual pleasures, and the third is whether it is manifesting passions. If that is the case, then it is a false religion. Okay. Very subtle topic. So you have to make your active consciousness also subtle to understand this. Okay. So now we will begin this. So Himali, you start reading. First paragraph is first point. Second paragraph is second point. Third paragraph is third point. So you read first 3 points and then I will point out.
Now, exposition of false religion and denial of faith in it. Now, the false religion is being discussed. Believing such acts and dispositions to be religion, which involve injury, etc., sins, and which cause increase in carnal desires, etc., is known as false religion. Indulging in the activities of oblation.
Stop. So here it is written, no, cause increase in carnal desires, comma, then you write passions. They have missed out the passions. Because these 3 are the main components. Now the person who was translating, he may have missed out, but it's a very big word, passions. Okay. So only 3 things we have to see, whether it is increasing your sensual pleasures, carnal desires. The second is increasing passions. And the first one involving injury. So injury is not a good word. Violence is a good word. So you use violence, okay, which involves violence. Okay. So now you continue. Start from the beginning.
Okay, sir. Now the false religion is being discussed. Believing such acts and dispositions to be religion, which involve violence, etc., sins which cause increase in carnal desires, passions, etc., is known as false religion. Indulging in the activities of oblation, wherein great injury is involved, killing of big animals is caused, sensual pleasures are fostered, cruel concentration is developed due to injurious attitude towards Jeev. Desire of fulfillment of selfish ends arises by harming others due to intense greed. Believing all such acts to be religious acts is false religion.
Stop. 1 minute. What is oblation, you know? Anybody knows what is oblation? Yag. You know? Panchangni करते हैं ना, यज्ञ. Havan, Yag. So when you lit up the fire, so that's causing a great violence, because Agni is a one-sensed being, right? So you have to make, you cook food also, right? But that's something you have to do for survival. Okay, so those kind of violence are still allowed as a householder stage, right? But this kind of violence, oblation, yag, that is not, and that also in the name of religion, if you are doing, then it's a very, very false thing. Okay, so oblation means yag. Continue, second point.
Oh, so even jalafying agarbatti, dhoop, all that is wrong.
Wrong. We don't do.
So then, so why is it there in Derasas?
So those are there in Svetambar Derasars. In Digambars also now, like some have started doing it. Some are putting tuni bulb, instead of diyas. That is also not acceptable. But see, now everything is defined in the scriptures. But now who is reading the scriptures?
Yeah.
Right? Everyone wants to do something differently. So in that chakkar, everything is going wrong. There is nobody to correct, so things will be like that, and things are going to worsen as the time goes, right? It is our own individual awareness that we have to create to not to get into such kind of things, right? So
Dhupatti is allowed, no? Dhupatti is not considered violence.
no, Dhupatti is also not allowed. We don't do anything with Agni in the name of religion, right? Cooking is majburi for your survival. But these things, without dhup also you can do puja, no? Without Ashtadravya also you can do puja, right? So, jahan, dekho, this is very individual call. Again, very individual call. What happens, ki nobody wants to deviate from the tradition that is going on. It takes so much of courage to defy the traditions that's going on, right? So very rare, very brave people can only do that. So we cannot expect everyone to take such actions. But as an individual, we can very well analyze things and we can take our own individual call. Okay. So
sir, our course is called practical Jainism.
yes.
So practically kuch to sir accommodate karte hain.
So see, I'll tell you my life. I cannot say anything of others people. I was born in a Sthanakvasi Svetambar family. Now, I have been doing Abhishek for the last 25 years since I became Digambar. So, हमने खोजा ना, I found out. I will share you a letter from Srimad Rajchandra ji. In the very end of his life, he wrote that these are the true scriptures. 20 scriptures name he wrote, Sat Shastra, out of 19 are Digambar. Kunkund Acharyas, all the 5 Parmagams are there, Samay Sar, Niyam Sar, Pravachan Sar, Ashtapahud, Panchastikai, Moksha Marg Prakashak. Srimadji read this Moksha Marg Prakashak. But he realized this at the end of his life. So this was not very popular. But in one of the letters, he has written this, that these are the 20 scriptures that I have read, and these are the true scriptures. Out of 20, 19 are Digambars and 1 are Svetambar. Now what do you do? See, you have to take your own call. So I have taken strong decisions. Even my uncles, my other family members were against me, that why you are leaving our religion and going to some other religion. I said, I'm not going to some other religion. I'm going to the best religion which I feel logically explains everything, and I am fine with that logic. So I'm accepting. It's your choice. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. My parents, my own parents were against this. We used to worship Kul Devta, Kul Devi and all these, Surdan Dada, you must be knowing, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, Patrick, Pitru Deva, there's something. So my parents were believing that, and we were also believing because we got up seeing all this, right? Now, suddenly I started reading the scriptures and I realized that, oh, all these are false. Now something getting, our objective was to manifest right belief. And this is something, if you get involved in this, you are going further away from right belief. So how can that be compromised? So I took a decision. My parents were against me, but somehow I did it. And over a period of time, they also turned this. And they realized that, oh, this is a quite logic. But it took them 5-10 years to realize this. But I read it and I immediately realized, oh, this is something wrong. Kanji Swami was a Sthanakvasi sadhu. He also changed to Digambar. Why? Because he realized that this is all gadbad. How can this be possible? I can be called a monk and I am wearing clothes, and this is not the right way of becoming a monk. So he left that sampradaya, and then people told him that we will not give you food. If you leave this, mupatti, they wear one mupatti, Svetambar Sthanakvasis. So he said, if you leave this, we are not going to offer you food. So he said, I am not initiated into monkhood for the sake of food. It is my own welfare, my spiritual upliftment. Okay. So see, these are all individual calls, very small matter, but very important matters, right? So you can read again and again, you can analyze, think on it, and if you have any questions, you can ask me personally also. But I have done it. That is what I can say. I cannot say that you also do it, right? I know there are some students who are still in Svetambar. They studied 5 years Parmagam honors course and they are still following Svetambar tradition. I don't mind. Still they come here from USA, they visit my place. We have a very healthy discussion. But we don't cross that boundary, It's your individual call. But I have done that, I can say for myself. My parents were against me, but still I insisted and I told them this logic. But he said, no, our forefathers did this. I said, they did it because of ignorance. I don't want to be in ignorance. I know it's very clear cut, mentioned, everything is very crystal clear. There is no ambiguity anywhere. So why not? So initially they were not reluctant to accept it. But as the time passed and they started listening, reading, they also realized this and they also left. Now, all my family members, all other family, my father are 5 brothers. All 4 are still following all those things today itself. Right? None of my family member told me that you have changed so much, show us the path. Nobody is interested. Everybody is interested in what they are doing and they want to continue. So I'm also detached, no? I'm also detached. Okay, you do whatever you feel like. We still have a very cordial relation. We don't have hatred feeling. But when the discussion comes for religion, you have to tell the right thing. So I invited all my family members for this course of happiness, I said, this is my gift to you all. So some of them have joined, and yesterday only we had a very long discussion, and now they are realizing, my my cousins, they are realizing, whatever you are saying is very logical and it makes sense. So I said, okay, even if they convert, then also I am not developing any feeling of attachment. If they don't listen also, then I don't have any feeling of aversion towards them. I have to be neutral. That's all. Okay. So continue. The first one was done. Now second one.
So
Further
one
people.
more thing I wanted to ask you.
Hmm.
So Digambas have a different way of doing puja as compared to Deravasis.
No. Almost it is sample. Almost it is similar. There are also 8 things. Here also 8 things. Only like we don't use certain things. I think they also don't use such things. We use
the puja itself is different. That is the difference. Puja ke jo
That's
shabd
what I'm
hai.
asking. So they don't use that
Shabd
Chandan and Kesar and all.
But
They don't use that Chandan Kesar.
Chandan also we use. What we do, for pushpa, we color the chawal. We put some chandan in the chawals, so it becomes a pushpa. If it is white, then it is neved. Okay.
Then it is akshat.
Akshat. Sorry, akshat.
और चंदन से जल के बाद तो चंदन ही चढ़ाते हैं दिगंबर में भी और उसमें भी जल के बाद तो चंदन ही चढ़ाते हैं ना?
पता नहीं अभी श्वेतंबर में क्या करते हैं, आई हैव नेवर बीन एग्जैक्टली, सो आई डोंट
यस वो ना केसर और पानी मिला के
see.
चंदन को
I have very one definition for Jains. You know, if you are believing that you are a true soul, you are a true Jain. If you believe yourself to be apart from true soul, then you are not a Jain. Whether your name is Digambar, Svetambar, Deravasi, Sthanakvasi, doesn't matter. One who believes that he himself is a soul, one who wants to see this soul, one who is striving to focus at the soul, they are the true Jains. That's all.
Sir,
There
you
is
have your
Jain
concepts
Digambar.
very right. You have your concepts very
Yeah.
right. Sir, बहुत लोगों से मिलते हैं, वो लोग बोलते हैं पर वो they don't follow that. You have your concepts very right.
Yes,
मतलब
and very
attachment आपको नहीं
strong-willed.
रखना है, आप नहीं रखेंगे. I mean that's a real a very right concept you have. You practice it.
Yeah, and see, it is our life. It is our life. If I am getting into some wrong things, at the end of the day, I am going to face the whatever the results would be, right?
8 consequences.
So it's for our own benefit. I said my parents were against me. Now what else we can say?
Yeah.
Somebody who has already brought you up and you are going against them. So I said, kid, this is logically, you understand. Well, then no, our forefathers, they all believed this and that. I said, okay, they believed, but they were not aware of the scriptures. Now I am reading the scriptures, right? So you also read the scriptures. So then they also, like maybe 4-5 years they did, but then they also converted, you know. So see, these are some tough calls that you have to take. Now again, as I said, we don't have any relation of hatredship with my uncles and all, but they are all independent. Some have joined Srimad Rajchandraji's group. So they are all basically more or less Svetambar only, you know. So it's different things, different places. But at the end of the day, it is our life and we have to take that call. Okay. Continue. Further, he gives donation.
No, sir, further people take bath.
Sorry, further.
Further, people take bath, etc., in so-called holy places, which causes injury to innumerous big and small living beings. It provides relaxation to the body. Therefore, it fosters sensual pleasures and increases carnal desires. Thus, one increases his passions out of sport and wrongly believes all such activities to be religion. But all this is the false religion. Further, point 3, he gives donation during the period of transition, Sankranti, eclipse, and great calamity, etc., and gives donation for the purpose of neutralizing the effect of the planet of bad omen, gives donation to the greedy persons by knowing them worthy recipients. In donation, he gives gold, elephant, house, sesame, etc. articles. But Sankranti, etc., are not the religious festivals. By movement of the planets, etc., stellars, the Sankranti transitions, etc., are caused, and donation given for the mitigation of the effects of bad planets. Is not religious donation because it is given due to fear and excessive greed, etc. Moreover, the greedy persons are not worthy recipients of donation because the greedy persons cheat through many false tactics. They do not do even a little good. Benefaction is actually caused only when the done practices.
Doni.
Okay, Doni practices religion with the help of donation received. But on the other hand, he indulges in sinful activity. How would benefaction be caused to a person who helps in sinful acts? The same thing is stated in Ranayansar Shastra.
Rayansar.
Shastra. Giving charity to pious persons is like the splendor of the fruits of Kalpavriksha. This act is splendorous as well as pleasure giving, and the charity given to greedy persons is like decorating the bier of a dead body.
Bier is what, you know?
The
Corpse.
Yeah, dead bodies lying down.
Yeah.
Though splendor results, yet it causes extreme distress to the owner, kinsman. Hence, there is no religion in giving charity to the greedy persons. Moreover, such things should only be given in charity which foster religion in the donee. But the donation of gold, elephants, etc., creates injury, etc., and increases pride, greed, etc., passions which result in great sins. Sin. How could virtue, that is punya, be caused to the donor of such things?
Stop. So these are 3 points is over. So first one, in the first point itself, there was discussion on violence. So anything which causes violence. Then the second one was increases carnal desires, and the third was passions, cannot be termed as religion. So in the first paragraph itself, like they talked about the activities of yag, oblation, okay, where great violence is involved, killing big animals, thrusts, you know. So and then sensual pleasures are fostered. So this could not be religion, okay. This is wrong religion. The second paragraph deals with the carnal desires, okay. People take bath in holy places, which causes, you know, all these are regarding carnal desire. This increases our carnal desire. So these cannot be termed as religion. The third one is about the passions, greed. Now giving donations in Sankranti and solar eclipse, lunar eclipse, you know, Surya Grahan, Chandra Grahan. I was just now thinking that I invite all the Grahan, all the Grahas, you know, you come and disturb me. People do these things because to save them from uh, bad omens, you know, कि ये नहीं करेंगे तो ये हो जाएगा, ये नहीं करेंगे तो ये हो जाएगा. There are many wrong beliefs. Okay, I said कि all the karms come together, then also they will not be able to disturb me in any manner. Okay, so with this conviction, you are fearless. You, if anything is happening, it's going to happen to the body, right? Nothing happens to the soul. Soul is eternal. Okay, when we were in hell, when we were in one sensed being, nothing of us got damaged, nothing of us got reduced. Okay, now we know that we are soul. So what is going to happen? Nothing is going to happen. But there are many these kinds of traps, you know. I also don't blame those persons who are practicing such practices, or the people who are at the helm of those activities, because the underlying cause is the delusion. Okay, so under the influence of delusion, many things happens, you know. So giving charity to pious person is like a spender of the fruits of kalpa vriksha. So if you are giving donation to the right kind of people, then it's going to bear you punya. But if you are giving donation to the greedy person, wrong person, who are indulging in sinful acts, then you are not binding auspicious karma, but you are binding inauspicious karma. Okay, so even punya will also be not there. So wrong understanding is wasting so much of your time, so much of your money, and the result is zero. Not zero, it's negative. You are binding inauspicious karma, so it is negative. Now the fourth point. I'm reading it. We have little time left, half an hour only left, and we have to complete this chapter. Okay. So I am reading and I'm explaining you in short. So the fourth point, moreover, the passionate person claims that there is a virtue in providing the objects of sexual pleasure. Now this is something very weird, you know. So there are people who provide we should not discuss, in fact, such things, provide objects of sexual pleasure, but how could virtue be claimed in the acts of unchastity, kushil, which are sinful? And they put up false logic by saying that this gives satisfaction to a lady. Okay. So all these are bullshit logics. I think you can read yourself. Fourth point. Fifth point. Moreover, by observing the woes, some believe that by observing woes, the woes, those kind of woes which foster violence and objects of sensual pleasures. Okay. So those kind of woes are not the true woes. Okay. Woes are meant to reduce your violence, to reduce your sensual pleasures. For them, the woes are to be observed. But on the contrary, if those are increasing, then it is not a true woe. That is the fifth point. Okay. Further, such people do not take meal in the daytime and instead take food in the night. So further violence. Okay. If you are eating food in the night, because after sunset, invariably many living beings takes birth in the food, after sunset. So it is best not to consume food after sunset, not even water. Okay. So in this act of taking meals in the night instead of taking food in the day, greater violence, injury, greater violence is caused and recklessness increases. Recklessness means pramad, negligence. Okay. And by observing the force, fast, etc., people indulge in excessive endearment of the body, sringar, sportive acts, kutuhal, gambling. So all these are wrong. We did not discuss things. Sixth point, coming to the sixth point. And many people produce affliction to the body. Further down, yeah. Affliction to the body, and they consider religion. Somebody stands on one leg and they consider this as religion. But again, these are all very false kind of conceptions. This best can be possible only when your delusion it has a very high level, then you get into such all things. Otherwise, smart people, people with good intellect, they will not fall to this kind of prey. So this sixth point also you can cover. It is all related to the afflictions to the body. Now the seventh point is related to the air. Okay, wind. Okay. Further, some people control respiration and practice neti dhoti. Neti, from one nose you enter the water and from other side it comes out. So such some medical practices and some yogic exercises are such for cleaning up the body. In such acts, lot of violence are caused by consumption of water, etc. Okay. If some miracle is produced, then pride and other passions increase in them, increase in him. Hence, in no way such acts can be called religious acts. Thus, they involve themselves in act causing distress, but do not bother about reducing indulgence in passional acts. Internally, they possess the intention of anger, pride, deceit, and greed passions. So again, your passions are increasing, violence is increasing, and your sensual desires are increasing, then it is not a true religion. Now, the eighth point, the last point, okay? And many people commit suicide because they cannot endure, sahan shakti nahi hai, endure miseries in this world, or desire to get agreeable objects in the next birth. But that is not a solution. On the contrary, if you commit a suicide, you will bind such inauspicious karma that things will worsen in the next birth. Okay. So this is again a very false understanding. Many kill themselves for earning name and fame or under pressure of anger, passion, etc. Today in the newspaper I was reading that there was a raid in a builder's office, income tax raid, and that person committed suicide in the office itself for the
Yes,
fear of
yesterday.
raid
Correct.
in Bangalore
Yesterday.
or something. Yeah,
Yes, Bangalore officer.
Bangalore.
I think it's a confident the same group.
Oh, confident group. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So see, like people are See, one thing I would really want to discuss here is that ignorance is creating such things. Ignorance, it's sheer ignorance, you know. So now in present era, present time, it's very difficult to get a right guidance. Okay, it's very difficult to get a right guidance. So that is something, because if you get the right guidance, you will mend your mistakes and you will be in the right path. But there are nobody to guide. And if there are people ready to guide, they are not ready to follow. So this world will go on like this. The best part is we are going to get liberated, and so we are happy about that, right? Every day you open up the newspaper, it's all causes of detachment, 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 vairagya, vairagya, vairagya. So just put it yourself in that place. What would you have done, right? And then this will increase your internal strength to practice Jainism in the practical way. We are not bound by any tradition. We are not bound by our forefathers, nothing. Our life is in our hand. We read the scriptures, analyze it, discuss it, and come to a conclusion, and your life will be good. Okay. For example, many women burn themselves in the fire on account of bereavement of their husbands. You know, Raja Ram Mohan Roy abolished this sati system. Okay. And are called sati. Some people get dissolved in the snow of Himalaya mountain. Some others get sword, तलवार से काटे जाते हैं in the Kashi, Banaras city. Some people die willfully. These acts are believed to be religious acts, but committing suicide is a great sin. If attachment in body etc. was lessened, then one should have accepted real penances. तप कीजिए. But what part of religion is revolved in dying in the aforesaid manner? Therefore, committing suicide is a false religion. So we discussed many false religions. I think everything was not required, but since it was in the scriptures, we read it. But just think in other lines. Okay. Likewise, there are many facets of false religion. How long to describe? Believing to be religious, all such acts which foster passions and sensuousness is false religion. Okay. Now the heading is missing here. It is huh?
So sorry to interrupt. So what about Santhara then?
Santhara is Santhara taken in the proper manner. Okay. So it is not only starving, you know, Vishay, Kashai and Ahar. Ahar is in the third place. First is you renounce the sensual pleasures, Vishay. Then Kashai, passions. Okay. And third point is the food. But people believe just living away food and they believe Santara. People is about to die. Then they call the Sadhviji and takes vows for Santara. So this is not Santara. If your life, in general life is your in happiness, then you are eligible for Santara and Santara will happen definitely. You will die peacefully, right? So that you have to practice peacefulness throughout your lives to get the peaceful death. But throughout the life, you indulge in sensual pleasures and all wrong things. And then at the end time, you hear Namokar mantra and you feel that you have done Santara. It is not Santara. समाधिमय जीवन जिसका होगा उसका ही समाधि मरण होगा. So in the coming semester, we have one chapter Sallekna in Tatvat Sutra also. And we have separate book on Sallekna. Okay. You had white book. No, I don't, we have not covered so far, but Sallekna is coming up. So it's a very nice kind of thing. Sallekna, peaceful death. The one who lives peacefully throughout his life achieves a peaceful death. Okay. Just reciting the Namokar mantra at the end of the during the death time does not make a Santara. So we have to understand everything in the right sense, right? In between there was a in the newspaper that they were going to consider legally wrong Santara, but then something got in between because of Jain pressure. But you have to understand what is Santara. So without understanding, if you do anything, then it is your own responsibility. Okay. So now the important discussion coming up is, the heading is not given here. The heading is not given in the Hindu book also, but I have got the heading from the original scripture. Jain dharma में भी कुधर्म की प्रवृत्ति. Okay. In Jain religion also there is activity of false religion. There are 3 points to it. First paragraph is first point. It is about the Jain Vrat. Okay. The vows. Behold, due to bad times in the Jain's religion, also the practice of false religion has started. Jain religion, false religion has started. Whatever religious festivals are described, in all those festivals, it is desirable to observe continence by giving up passional acts. Right? कशाई कम होनी चाहिए. But they do not adopt this practice, and instead in the name of vows, etc., adorn the body in various ways. Sringar. Nowadays the Panchkirana are so costly affairs, you know. Taking relishing food, best of food, best of facilities, best of hotels, everything. Indulge in sportive acts, and in the acts which increase the passions, and indulge in great sinful acts like gambling, etc. Okay. So this was about Jain Vrat. Now Jain Puja, second paragraph. Further, in the acts of worshipping, etc. This was the preaching that Savadalesho Bahu Punyarasho Doshaya Nalam. That means, if by incurring little bit of sinful conduct, if you are getting lots of punya, then still it is still allowed, you know, like you do a business, right? So your expenses say are 30 rupees and your profit is 70 rupees, then it makes sense. But if your expenses are 30 rupees and your profit is 30 rupees, then you are not earning anything, right? So similarly, even if you have to indulge in some sinful activity, but at the cost of that sinful activity, much more beneficial things are happening, then still it makes sense. That is what it says in this. In the acts of producing excessive virtue, punya, if some little sinful acts are involved, then the same are ignorable. Then it is ignorable. थोड़ा पाप होगा लेकिन बहुत ज्यादा पुण्य होगा, like, ठीक है, then it is still acceptable. Under this pretext, in the name of worship and propagation of religion, Jina's teachings, people burn the lamps in the night. Okay, so this is again very violence. Collects the object containing infinite living beings such as flowers, vegetables, etc. Right? And indulge in practices involving injury, that is violence, and other sins before the jin's idol. They pay scant respect to virtuous acts like that of worship, invocation, etc. In all these acts, loss is more, gain is less or even nil. All such acts are clearly irreligious. Now this is some topic, very controversial topic. You have to take this individual call. You know, many things are happening in the name of religions nowadays. So there is nobody to guide, nobody to go against the flow, right? So then it becomes our responsibility, our collective responsibility, who read the scriptures, you behave accordingly. Okay. Number 3, that is now about the mandir. Moreover, the temple of Jina is abode of religion. In the temple, people engage themselves in various irreligious talks, vikatha, kukatha, sleep, and behave indolently. Indolently means pramad, negligence, unawareness. Okay. and they foster passions and sensual pleasures by developing orchard and flower garden, etc. inside temple premises. So you have seen many big temples. So they maintain all these gardens and they want to look it beautiful. They want people to visit those places. Okay. Now again, it's an individual call. We will not discuss much onto this. Further, they give charity to the greedy person, believing them to be preceptors, gurus, and feel exalted by their false praise. Thus, in various ways, they increase their passional desires. Earlier, sensual pleasures were also discussed and passions were also discussed. Now, the desires have been discussed. Thus, in various ways, they increase their passional desires and believe same to be religion. But the emblem of Jina's religion is passionlessness. Entry of such perverse practices in Jaina religion is due to bad times. We are in very bad times. Okay. Now to manifest religion in this time, it's a great challenge. Okay. But with understanding and with right effort, it is easy. It is not that it is something impossible. No. But you have to develop the understanding. Right. In this way, the adoration and practice of false religion is forbidden. Now, the involvement of false belief in such practice is being explained. The one basic objective in the right belief of tattvas, 7 fundamental elements, is to give up passions. Okay. This very disposition is called religion. If you are giving up passions, that is, you are becoming passionless, then this is true religion. Okay. If by increasing passional dispositions, one believes that religion is evolved, then where remains the right belief in tattvas? Okay. So basic 7 fundamentals people are not clear. So they are indulging in all wrongful activities which are fostering passions, which are fostering sensual pleasures, and which are fostering violence. Okay. So it's where is the belief in tattvas? This is against the Jina's commandment. Passions are sinful disposition. Believing these to be religion is false belief. Therefore, in the practice of false religion, false belief is invariably involved. Okay. Now, the conclusion. Now is the conclusion. In this way, yes. In this way, now all the 3 would be discussed together. Okay. All 3 common discussion now coming up. This is the last discussion and then we are going to close on time. Okay. In this way, know well that the adoration and believing false deity, false preceptor, and false scriptures, Kudev, Kuguru, Kushastra, bracket false religion, Kudharma, results in strengthening false belief. You want to strengthen false belief, Emily? So all these strengthens false belief. So
Right.
we should leave this at the first and foremost, right? Therefore, this is described here. The same is stated in the Ashtapaud. Now, few testimonials are being given from Ashtapaud. First one is from Mokshpaud. Ashtapaud means 8 scriptures put together. Okay, we have this in syllabus. 8 different scriptures. So one is Mokshpaud, one is Bhavpaud, then there are other Paud, Sutra Paud, then there is Bhakti Paud, then there is Bhavpaud is the most important of the 8. So there are 8. Okay. If someone adores false deity, false religion, false preceptors out of shyness. Okay. So this was discussed, shyness. Second is fear and false prestige. Again, man kasai, pride. Okay. So all 3 are mentioned here in Ashtapaud, I told you, and this is Mokshpaud, verse number 92. Okay. If someone adores false deity, false religion, false preceptor out of shyness, क्या कहेंगे लोग करना चाहिए? So one thing that डर के कुछ बुरा हो गया तो, and the third one, false prestige. लोग क्या कहेंगे, है ना? He is assuredly a false believer. Therefore, those who want to forsake false belief, first of all, they should forsake adoring false deity, false preceptor, and false religion. In the abdication of 25 types of faults of right belief, okay, we studied this in Chardala. 25 दोष, सम्यक दर्शन के 25 दोष. Okay, if you are having any of these faults, then right belief will not manifest. Okay, so abdication means renouncement. Okay, in the abdication of 21 types of faults of right belief under amur drashti, okay, foulness and 6 piece of misbelief, the renouncement of this false deity, etc., only has been preached. Hence, one must inevitably forsake him. So, this part we discussed in the beginning of the 6th chapter, first day itself. Okay. For manifesting right belief, this negation of this false god, false scriptures, and false monks have been discussed at 3 places. Okay. In the 8 components of a right religion, okay, right belief, 8 components of right belief, there is one amud drashti, okay, that also negates kudev, kuguru, kushastra. Then 6 anayatan, kudev, kuguru, kushastra और उनके सेवक, there also kudev, this has been negated. And then 3 murta, dev murta, guru murta, dharma murta. At 3 places, this false religion, false deity, and false script, false preceptor have been negated. Okay, so we must leave them. Second point. Further, false belief resulting from adoration of false deity, etc., is a bigger sin than the sins of injury, that is violence, etc. पांचों पाप लगा लेना. 5 पाप से भी बड़ा पाप है delusion, मिथ्यात्व. Okay. In its fruition, one gets birth in Nigod, one sensed, and hell, Narak, etc. In such birth, intense agonies and afflictions have got to be suffered for infinite period, and attainment of right knowledge becomes extremely difficult. The same is stated in Ashtpaud, now Bhavpaud, meaning one who is engrossed in the practice of false religion, adores the hypocrites and false preceptors, observe false penances, he has to suffer from the miseries of evil state of existence, that is Nigod and hell. It will land you in Nigod and hell, and there are long periods of sufferings over there. Okay, so O Bhavyas, by adoring the false deities, etc., false deities, false preceptors, and false religion, even with the slightest greed and fear, one has to suffer from intense agonies for infinite period. Therefore, false belief is in no way worth harnessing, fostering, okay, believing, indulging in. At best, you have to leave it in the very first place. And if you have any doubts, you can call me personally. I'll be happy to offer you the logical reasons behind them. Okay. Third point. In Jinnah's religion, it is an eternal tradition that first of all, the bigger sin is advised to be forsaken before a smaller sin. Therefore, believing the false belief to be the greater sin than indulgence in 7 evil habits, that is 7 vices. You know, Jua, Madira, then Parsri Gaman, Vaishya Gaman, Shikar. We have read this 7 vices, right? So, false belief to be a greater sin than indulgence in 7 evil habits, that is vices. It is to be forsaken first of all. Therefore, those who are afraid of the fruits of sinful acts and do not desire to sink their soul in the ocean of agony should invariably give up false belief. If it is not desirable to be of fickle mind due to fear of censure, censure means ninda, or desire of praise, because in ethics also the same is stated as follows. Now this is adapted from Niti Shatak. It says that there could not be compromise in true God, true scriptures and true monks. We cannot deviate from them. If someone criticizes, let them criticize. Someone praises, let him do so. Wealth is obtained or lost. Death is instant or comes after long time. In all such contradictory situations, the wise persons, the enlightened one, the Gyanis, do not budge an inch from the path of justice. Okay. So this is from the ethical side, Niti Shatak. Remembering this doctrine, it is not proper to indulge in injustifiable forms of false belief under pressure of censure, praise, fear or greed. Okay. Now the final conclusion, last 3 paragraphs. Or the true omniscient God, true preceptor and true religion are the supreme objects. The religion rests on them, right? They are going to become an instrumental cause in them. Okay. So you should identify this and be under their guidance. How could religion be involved by fickleness and indecision about them? What more to speak? It is extremely necessary to forsake in every way the company of false deity, false preceptor and false religion. By not abdicating the false deity, etc., by not renouncing the false deity, false religion and false monks, the false belief is greatly strengthened in the present times. The tendency of adoring them is found specifically more here. Therefore, their abdication is forcefully described here. Knowing all this, one should adopt the path of liberation by forsaking false belief. Thus ends the 6th chapter of the treatise Moksha Marg Prakashak, in which the description of false deity, false preceptor, false religion is done for abdicating them. So our time is over and our discussion is also over at the right time. But still we have 2-3 minutes. If you want to ask any questions, you can ask. But now I think you are all fine with the logic and the topic.
So they say all worshippers of false deity will all go in hell. So all these Hindus, Vaishnavas, will they all go in hell then? It's like
all the it's the scripture mentioned is Bhaupaud and Mokspaud, written by Kunkundacharya, and those scriptures are exclusively written for the monks. Okay, so monks are the biggest sinner. Now those who are ignorant people, now you are saying about Hindus and all those who don't have access to this Jainism, now they are still they are not going to be scot-free. They are also going to end up like in those states only. But those who know the religion and still engages in such false deity, false scriptures and false monks, they are the biggest, they are going to get the biggest punishment. Because if someone doesn't have access, then somebody don't know, then how you can expect them to behave rightly, right? But the one who knows and then still behaves wrongly, he is a bigger sinner, right? So these all are been written by Kunkundacharya, and he has given strong instructions in Ashtapaud that if you are becoming a monk, observe the practice in the right sense. Okay. Otherwise, you will be the biggest sinner. You will end up in Nigod and hell. Okay. So this is for the Jainas that we have discussed. Now others they don't have that much of auspicious karma, rise of auspicious karma, that they can get access to this. How many people believe, how many people you believe have access to this kind of understandings, this kind of scriptures, this kind of course? How many? Very few. Considering the population of the universe, 780 crores, I think, something, right? Out of that, in India only we have 130, 140. Out of that, 0.40s are Jains. And out of that 0.40, how many are true Digambars? And how many are, if they are Digambars, how many are reading the scriptures? And if somebody is reading the scriptures, how many are understanding in the right sense? So it's absolutely becoming rarer. Okay. So we can't expect many people to understand this, but our time has come. So let's take off. Let's take off and reach destination. Let's get liberated. They will come at the right time. All are destined to be there at the right time. So nobody can come before that. Okay. So whoever's times will mature, they will get into this kind of studies. They will understand it in the right sense. They will behave rightly. They will have their conduct very good, and they will get liberated. Very simple. So we are not worried about wrong things happening. We are not worried about the whole universe. We are worried about ourselves, that if my time gets over tomorrow, what I am going to experience. Okay. So
Sir,
because
in
of our
conjunction with, Malati ji, like as you said, sir, people who have access to the right scriptures, if they do the satsang, they will go into Nigod. So because of fear also, people will not take access to these right scriptures. No, sir, okay. Only if I understand. Only if
I know my cousins. I know my
Very true,
cousins.
very true.
They are not getting into religion because they feel that if they go deep into religions, their sensual pleasures will go away. They feel that way.
No, not sensual pleasures I'm talking about. I'm talking about they were going to Nigod or Naragati.
Yeah,
So if I
see,
understand true, then I will go, because instead I remain ignorant. No, so my paap will not be so much. No, that way.
no, I see why they have given these instructions. They will end up in Nigod and hell. They want to warn us that you understand the religion in the right sense. Okay. If you don't understand it and if you practice in the wrong manner, then you will end up there. Okay. So
Okay.
if somebody is not indulging in this kind of studies with the fear that if they are not able to understand it right, they will end up then it is their problem. What we can do, right? At the end of the day, whoever has got liberated, they have understood the scriptures, right? They have followed the instructions of the scriptures and they have got liberated. So our time has come, so we are doing it. When their time will come, they will also do it, right? Saptavesni Anjan Chor,
Ah,
he was into 7 kind of vices. He was the son of a king. They were a Jain family, but since he distanced himself from the religion, he got into bad companies. Okay, and he indulged in all sort of wrong activities. So his father, the king, turned him out of the town. Said, I don't want, I don't own him now. Okay, because he was doing the wrong things. So what happened that he was wandering here and there, indulging in wrong activities. So one time he was into uh, theft also. Okay. So once he was stealing a chain of the queen and he stole the chain and he was running and the soldiers were after him. Okay. And while running, he entered into a crematorium. Okay. There one businessman who knew one mantra to become invisible. Okay. There was a mantra he was practicing to become invisible. Okay. And he was not having the uh, what you call guts to jump onto it, because if he jumps and if the mantra doesn't work, Then in the below, there were big sharp pointers like arrows were all there. So he will definitely get killed. So this Anjan Chor, he was already running for his life because soldiers were after him because he has stole a necklace of the queen. So what he did, he asked the merchant that you give me the mantra, I will do it. Because anyways they are after me, I am going to get killed. So let me try this. If I become invisible, I will be saved. So that was the last thing he tried. And he uttered that mantra and he became invisible. And that's how he was saved. And the moment he was saved, he asked that, where did you got this mantra from? So he pointed out that such and such monk is there. He gave me this mantra. So he went to that monk and said, I am saved by your mantra today. So you tell me, what is this? So then he got interested in the religion. The monk explained him the religion. He got interested in the understanding of the religion. He renounced everything and he became a monk. And in the same life, he got liberated. Now you can see such a turnaround. So we cannot say that somebody is doing wrong thing today, tomorrow he may improve and he may go to liberation before us. So we cannot underestimate anybody. Okay. If anybody is willing to understand, you explain him. If somebody is not willing to understand, leave it. Okay. We should do our own work. And if anybody is willing to understand, see, this is Parmagam Honors course. I am teaching. If you are enrolling here, then only I am teaching. No, if you are not enrolling, then I am not teaching. Right. So like it is like that. So we don't have to worry for anybody. When the right time will come, they will also have a turnaround in their life and they will also get into this path and they will get liberated. Here, now our time has come. So let's get into it. Let's understand it nicely and follow their instructions. So we will get liberated. As simple as that. Okay. We are not in comparison with anybody. We don't want to compare. जो कर रहा है सब सही कर रहा है. Everything is, whatever everyone is doing is all doing very right things, because there is nothing wrong happening anywhere, at any place in the universe. Everything is happening very smoothly and perfectly, because this is a self automation mode. Nobody is a doer. Okay. Everyone has their own virtues and sins with them, merits and demerits with them, and accordingly things are unfolding in their life, right? Who are we to change that, right? So there is no way that we can do anything for anybody else, but it is for us only, and we should be very careful in understanding and adapting.
Yes.
Okay, with that note we close this 6th chapter. Next week we will begin with the 8th chapter. Okay. निज निधि निज में बताई, यह अनंत उपकार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना।